hard day, and here in Jamie Palmer's classroom, and you can see it's a reading, writing classroom. The place is lined with books. How many books do you think are actually in this room?
Well, I keep track of
You actually know.
4,500 right now.
4,500
Yes.
books. Okay, incredible. And they're all are they all pretty much done by author, or you have
Nope,
different?
there's by author, by genre, I have by series, and I have by like topics, and then I made up my own like books to give you chills or your higher self. So depending on ones that don't really, oh, and all about Oliver Button, so books that kind of have that same do what you love and be who you are. So they're the Oliver Button books.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And what's the value of those kinds of groupings?
Well, it just works in my mind, and having a big library, it has to make sense. So if somebody comes to ask me for a book, I have to be able to know where I put it. But then, like the kids know, we love Oliver Button, and so they love the story, and then they'll say like, "Oh, this book should go in that bin," and so it kind of puts them in charge of.
They start thinking
reading other
thematically.
books.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the
very
big
cool.
ideas.
And there's a big stack here. Those ones that are
Yes, these are
unbinned.
these were all graphic novels and wordless picture books from the library because I'm teaching a course at Fisher, and so we had a graphic novel focus one night, and so I took out a bunch.
So you
of
pulled a
books.
bunch of stuff out.
Yeah.
So tell us about this bin here. It's called
Your Higher Self. And so this summer, after I learned about your book and met Colleen, after I was reading books that I had just gotten that summer because I have a book addiction problem, and I was reading them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is totally about being your higher self. And Julie Sternberg, who's the author of this series, which I love this series, and the little girl Eleanor, she tries to be her higher self. At first it's kind of like she doesn't want to do something, but then she does something that's, goes along with that being your higher self, even though you might not be what you want to do or want to say. You just kind of do it. And so
what are some of the other books in there?
Well, and I love Touching Spirit Bear. This is a definite great book for older readers. I would definitely say fifth and up. But this main character kind of struggles with, he's made bad choices and how can he make it better? And so that to me was like, okay, I got to put these in your higher self. And
He's trying to get back to being his higher self.
yep.
Yeah.
And then like Enemy Pie, one of my favorite read alouds about the little boy who doesn't like that. Jeremy Ross is his number one enemy, and his dad is like, okay, we'll make enemy pie, and so it helps him kind of see, and he has to play with his enemy before he serves him the enemy pie, so he gets to know him and realizes, oh, he's really not as bad as I thought he was. And so it's, it fit in my head about being your higher self. So every time I find books, I kind of stick them in, and I just got those couple of books the other day and was like, these are totally going in the higher self bin. So yeah, I keep adding to it as I learned.
And when kids come to your class, you're obviously a frustrated librarian.
I totally want to be a librarian, yes. Totally. I can't afford to go to school to become one.
What happens? What do you want your kids to be like when they leave your classroom in June or whenever they leave?
The ultimate thing would be is that they're readers, that they see themselves as readers, that they love to read, that they're excited about reading, that it helps them in their writing, that they feel like they have a voice, they have a choice, that they see themselves in books, that they see books that they wish were written and they start to write them, that they're inspired, that they want to learn, that they want to read, I want them to read without me telling them to read. That's, to just be a reader, because those are the thinkers, those are the inventors, those are the doers, those are the people that are empathetic and help make the world better.
Beautiful. Now I just want to ask you a question. Why isn't everyone like you?
Well, they're probably not in debt, and yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a reader when I was younger. I actually thought reading was dumb, and if I could go back in time and see myself, I would probably say, oh, you are so lame. And I just didn't really learn how to read until I was a junior in college, and a professor actually taught us to think while we were reading. I could read you the words beautifully, but I had no idea what it meant, so I didn't see the purpose in it, because it was like, this is kind of like not how I want to spend my time. And so I see it as my goal to teach kids how to think while they read, that it should be like a movie in their mind, that it should be something that's enjoyable, and that love and that passion, because I don't feel like I had that. So that's like what I want to give to my kids, that they are readers, they are writers, they are makers, like they have that ability.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I so agree with you about all this stuff. And your room is so comfortable. It's got all this sort of. What is your theory about decorating your room?
Uh, well, I do love black and white, and I love polka dots, so that kind of is like my border. I and usually the fluorescent lights aren't on. We have all the lamps around the room, and
Oh, so
I
you got
know
a
some
lamp
people
situation.
will say like it's busy or it's overstimulating. I know there's a lot of articles out there about that, but I feel like, and I think the kids would agree that it's a very, and adults who have walked in the room say it's got this calming effect, even
Mm.
though there's a lot in here. It's
It's
kind of,
organized.
it's organized. There's a purpose to it. I usually home make everything. I don't buy store bought materials. I usually make everything myself or make my dad help me make it. Um, and yeah, I just want it to feel like it's a place where I want to be.
Why'd you become a teacher?
Because accounting was not going to let me be creative, because that's actually what I was going to be, was an accountant. And I just decided I think I want to be a teacher. And I remember telling my dad, and he was like, "What do you mean you're not going to be an accountant?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to be an accountant. I'm going to be a teacher." And he's like, "Oh," but now I think he's a little proud of that. And he's come and helped, mess up the room by drilling holes in the wall, and I get in trouble later. But it's all good for the kids and books display and all that. Um, but yeah, I think I wanted to make school fun. I want to make school like Disney World. Like I want to Disneyfy learning and make it a place where kids are excited to come, they want to come, that they feel like they have some voice, because I feel like I don't want them to be robots. I want them to be alive and thinking and engaged, and
Yeah.
you know, I think it's kind of, I mean, I see my own kids and they come home with worksheets, and there's never the time to read or write for them. And so I just want to give that to at least students here, and then do that at home with my own kids.